I started to discover it in the Philippines in 2000. When the Americans came to Manila and talked about the first redemption, right, which never happened at that time, right. So then for several years we did not bother about this, right, and then the Chinese came back, and they created a redemption program about 5-6 years back, right. And it happened so that one of my friends is a very close member to the Chinese family, right? Okay. They have been fighting together. They were both in martial arts. He's German as well, right? He lived there. He trained there. He taught as a teacher there. Okay. And then when they started with this program, well, we talked about it, and he asked me, okay, can you give me a helping hand in the Philippines, which I did, right? So I brought many. Well, not many, but I brought a number of Filipinos to the redemption, right? Unfortunately, due to political problems, the redemption in the Philippines may happen or may not happen, right? But out of this came then the contact to people like the Dato, your father, right? Or other clients well, basically all over the world, right? And then I was asked to work with these clients, potential clients, right, and to get their information, get the pictures done like we did here today, right, in order to prepare the submission of a KYC, proper KYC, to the redemption, right. And my friend then is checking for us all the numbers and all the information that are needed to say, okay, we can take this client because his bonds and boxes are apparently genuine, right? Because then only when the physical verification takes place, then we know it's for real or not, right? So far, we assume because the numbers are in master lists, we can verify immediately all the numbers you give us, right? And we can tell you within one day, okay, these numbers are good, or we can tell you the client is also good, or the client is not good because he has presented his file already to many intermediaries, right? So basically our job is to do what we did today, right? And then take the file to the redemption, right? The redemption is a program. It's not a physical person, right? The redemption is a program. The redemption was created by the former royal family of China. Right? They have the money to pay all this, but involved is the World Bank, involved is the International Monetary Fund, involved is the G20, right? The Fed in the US, right? Because it's paid in dollars, basically. So basically that is the job we are doing, right? To bring also the real clients who have the real stuff to the real party, right? Not to 10,000 other brokers or things like that, right? So that's basically my job.
What is your view on the historical bonds that you saw today?
Well, I didn't see any bonds, properly speaking. We only saw boxes, right? Okay. We saw a few bonds from the gentleman over there, right? And the boxes so far look good, right? But I cannot say if the boxes are genuine or not. What we will verify now are the numbers of the boxes, like the Golden Bible boxes and all the other boxes, right? We will tell you, okay, gentlemen, the numbers are good, everything is clean, bring it in, right? And since I will give your father the KYC that the redemption has prepared for him already, right? All what you need to do now is to add on an additional list all the assets, right? So that this will be one package, because in this redemption program is a rule. It is called the one-time rule. You can only present a file one time. If you have more assets and you think that you can present only part of your assets now and then later you come back and say, oh, I still have more assets, that will not work. They will not accept that. Why? A very simple reason for it. They don't want you to make money by returning or turning yourself to another owner or holder, because there is no owner, holder, and then say, okay, I buy this from you, I have money now, I buy this from you, and then you go back to the redemption. This is a no-no. So you have to present all your assets that you have, and if everything is okay, you get your money for all your assets, right?
Okay. Can you tell us again why you are not interested in the American bonds?
It's not that I'm not interested.
Okay.
I have to be very precise. It is that the Americans, for the time being, are not interested in really redeeming these boxes that I have seen here. If you have had a Treaty of Versailles box, I would have said, okay, we take the picture, we take the information, we take the KYC. But the other boxes, they have not given us any green light. They have not told us, okay, go and tell your clients that we will take them or that we will redeem them. That's not the case, right? So far, only for the Treaty of Versailles. Because the redemption program was created by the Chinese about 4 or 5 years back, as I said, right? Basically, what they did 100 years ago, they issued these bonds and papers, and it was backed by gold. Okay? So now the gold is not free because the papers are still outside, right? So they are going to collect about 40% of what has been issued about 100 years ago. They will redeem these 40%, and then the rest will just be cancelled. But by redeeming 40% of what is outside, their gold will be freed, so they can use their gold assets again for new guarantees. There is only one redeemer, that is the Chinese family.
Okay.
There's not even the Chinese treasury. They have nothing to do with it. No bank has anything to do with it. It is only the Chinese family. And they pay this with their own money, right?
Okay.
And the volume, as I said, it's 40% what is on the market.
On the market.
Right? In the Philippines, in South America, here in other Asian countries, right? And they will redeem for up to 40%, maybe 42, maybe 45, maybe only 35, who knows, right? But that is the volume they're considering, or the holder will get. Well, that's also depending on what it is. Like a super Pechali bond actually is, let's say, about 1 B per bond. It's about 750 to 800 million out of that, right? That means commissions and all the expenses for bankers, lawyers, and all these guys is already deducted, right? Now, so you have, let's say, 80%, right? From these 80%, they will probably give you, for yourself, between 10 and 20%. That money you can use for your own, you can give it to your children, you can do what you want. The balance is for projects, humanitarian projects, right?
For the projects.
And you have your own projects, like your father does, fine. If you don't have your own projects, they will give their projects, right? But each and every project has to be approved by the IMF.
IMF.
Yes, they will give you a number. When they have checked your project, they will give you a number, right?
Okay.
And then they will release the money for the project.
For the project,
right? Yes. The gold is basically in the United States.
Basically in the United States. Only the United States only? Or the London?
That is what I know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, maybe there is some gold. No, I think it's basically in the United States, yes. But maybe the Chinese also are trying to get their gold back. They want to check if the Americans have still their gold, right? Because some countries know that their gold has disappeared in America. That is a very good question, because some individuals inherited from their grandfathers or whatever. Others bought them as collection items, right? Maybe not even knowing that they will be valuable. So there is a market for collection, right? You can buy these bonds there, but you can only buy a few. And some people who kept them speculated that maybe one day somebody will pay them. So, but basically, there are all possibilities. People who inherited it, people who stole it, right? And everything is possible. You cannot really say, because, you know, this goes 80, 100 years back. So if you can trace it, it would be perfect, right? With some families you can, because they really have it for many, many years. But others just bought it 4, 5 years, 3 years back. But at least you should have it for minimum 3 years. Minimum 3 years, better even 5 years, otherwise the redemption may say no. If you come, for instance, you bought it yesterday and you will tell them, oh, I bought that yesterday, they will not take it. These can only be done by experts, right? Chinese experts. Yes, basically, or people who have been trained by the Chinese, right? But there are real experts who can determine whether it is a fake one or whether it is a genuine one. So far, what we can say, once we have checked the numbers, we can say the numbers are good. So the bond is supposed to be good. But when you present the physical bond, then they can feel by touching already, right? This is fake. If it's a good fake one, because that also does exist, right? There are bad fakes and good fakes, right? The good fakes, that's harder. Only experts can then tell, right? So don't ever trust anybody who comes with bonds and says, oh, I have these bonds. Yes, okay, I will have a look at it. I will take the numbers. We check the numbers. But if you really want to sell it or give it back because you don't own it, the experts will come, right? When you say, okay, we will redeem these, so there will be a meeting in the warehouse, security house, right? The experts will come and they will check bond by bond, individually. Each bond will be checked, right? And the bond, if the bond is good, they will pay. If the bond is not good, forget about it. You may go to jail.
2 middle-aged Japanese men reportedly caught trying to cross from Italy into Switzerland with $134 billion in bonds. $134 billion.
This is a very tricky situation, because if there is a party that wants to redeem, really wants to redeem, they will take the documents and check them and verify them. That's what the Chinese will do. But the Americans, that's a little bit more complicated, because very often they don't want to pay.
Nobody has this much money. That is 1% of our GDP.
There's no reason to pay, right? And they just collect these bonds, and then they will tell the people, your bonds are fake. Your boxes are fake. And what are you going to do? We had customers, Spanish customers with FRN box, right? They had it checked, right, really by experts and everything. Even forensic tests were made with the paper, right? And it was clearly said that these papers are genuine. And the Federal Reserve said, no, they're fake. So what are you going to do?
Why is no one covering this story? There is a fake bond scam. We think.
You can't do anything against the Federal Reserve, right? So that's why my personal opinion, it's better to deal with our Chinese friends than really to deal with our American friends, right? They may pay and they may not pay.
Sebagai royal families, Chinese elders, dragon families, kesultanan dan selainnya.
There is one royal family left, not the dragon family, right? There is one Chinese royal family left. They are living in 2 parts, right? And they are the ones who are doing this, right? They are using their own money, and they own the Federal Reserve up to 60%, And they control basically the financial markets, right, with the money that they have. So they are capable of coming up with this money and paying, right? Because we're talking about trillions of dollars, right? So you got to have the money to do this, right? And they do, yes, they do, right? But it's, let's put it this way. For me, it is going to be a great satisfaction if we achieve these goals. So that is, for me, the greatest achievement that we can have.